Hey, everybody, welcome to Hangin' and Sangin'. I'm Kelly McCartney from the Bluegrass Situation. With me today at Hillbilly Central, Courtney Marie Andrews,
Hello.
in person and in vinyl and paper. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Very happy to have you. You had our BGS Album of the Year last year.
Feels good. That's awesome.
Was anybody else as smart as we were? Did you? I know you were on some other lists.
I was. I think a radio station made me their album of the year somewhere.
Copycats.
But besides that, it's just, you guys were the only one that chose me as number one.
Right. So then, like, the next record comes out and wins all the Grammys, and we'll be like, "That's right, we had her first."
Tastemakers.
That's it. That's it. For people who weren't in the know as we were, let's do a little background.
Mm.
You grew up in Phoenix.
That's right.
Started playing music at 11.
11 or 12, 13.
In there.
Somewhere in early
between
teens.
years.
Yeah.
Left home at 16
That's right.
to play music.
Mm-hmm.
Ended up Damien Jurado and Jimmy Eat World.
Yes, I ended up being a backup singer and guitar player for some artists.
How was that playing in somebody else's band? How did that sort of set you up for your own thing?
Well, it's kind of funny. I mean, the early years of touring, I thought it was like Woody Guthrie style. That you just hop on a train and you busk in towns.
With a little
and,
knapsack
with a little
over your
knapsack. I'm like, oh, that must be what it's like. And I was completely content with that as well. Like,
Right.
sleeping at rest stops and kind of living the storyteller type lifestyle, and so we'd busk in
Storyteller. Hobo.
the hobo lifestyle, yeah. The hobo, as in we still have a home somewhere, but
Right, yeah.
we like to pretend we don't.
Yes.
But, anyway, and I loved that, and it was so exciting, and I really didn't know any of how it actually worked, like if you were bringing people out to your shows.
Right.
And so when I got to do that, and when I was asked to be a backup singer for these bands, I learned so much. And I like to think of it as like college for me. It's like, that's where I learned all the real truths of life. You know, and
probably
and of
served you better
career.
than a degree from Belmont.
From music. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. And
Sorry, college kid.
yeah, that doesn't mean all of you.
Yeah.
Stay in school.
Yeah, stay in school, exactly.
But yeah, so it was a really life-changing moment. I learned a lot, and I learned how to be assertive and how to run a tour and make it happen, and
Right.
what I should expect. That's what I learned. What I should expect and what I should reach for. So
Gotcha. And this, Honest Life, is your 6th release, 3rd full album?
yeah. So my first 3 don't exist.
Oh, okay. They're ghost albums.
Yeah, they're ghost albums. They don't exist.
Interesting. What's on there that the world doesn't need to hear?
A 16-year-old's thoughts.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so I kind of pushed those aside at some point, and I only have the latter 3 available. So Honest Life is kind of my technically 3rd full length.
Okay.
But,
Right.
we don't need semantics in this. I mean,
No. And, listening at the older stuff that's available, like No One's Slate is Clean, it's definitely denser. Mm-hmm. Is that fair in terms of the sound? But then the second one, we'll just go with these 3.
Yeah.
So that was the first one, 2011.
Mm-hmm.
The second one, I'm forgetting the name.
On my page?
Yes, on my page, 2013.
Mm-hmm.
Leans more towards this sort of folky country, Laurel Canyon, Emmylou Harris-y sound.
Yeah.
What shifted in there for you?
Well, I started really getting into Bob Dylan. Townes Van Sant. Yeah.
Dylan strikes again.
Yeah. And I mean, I always liked Bob Dylan, but I feel like there was definitely there's a switch that flipped, and it was like, Bob's the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure every songwriter goes through this.
Yeah.
And, I loved I wanted to make like a raw record where the band was just playing in the studio, and that's what both these records are. Like,
right.
It's the band's playing and in the studio, and it's like, that's how we sound, There's no frills or anything like that. It's just about the songs.
Right.
And I wanted it to be about the songs, and that kind of shifted to where I was like, the thing that I'm in love with the most is writing, And I feel like I tried to cover it up with other things before, and I didn't focus on the thing that, meant the most to me. So
I got it.
so that's where that shift came.
Do you feel like you're still, or maybe you'll always be finding your voice, or do you feel like you kind of settled into something?
I feel like I'll always be exploring in different ways, but I feel like I've found, like, songwriting is what it's always going to be about for me.
Right.
Like, if it's a good song, you can make any record you want.
Yeah.
But it can't be a record of okay songs with crazy production, So for me, or it could be. I mean,
it can be,
it
and
can
it
be.
is a lot of the
That's
time.
the goal. That's the goal, though, to
Right.
write good songs always. So,
Yeah.
and explore in different sonic paths, is fun. So.
Yeah. Well, and because you have been a road dog for a good chunk of your career, how does that sense of sort of constant motion, A, affect your psyche, and then B, work its way into your music? Because it does.
It does.
But you do it it's a little bit, it's not as blatant, I think, and you don't write like, this is my road record.
Yeah. Well, with Honest Life in particular, I had started, there was like definitely a shift in my mentality on the road.
Right.
I was so gung-ho on being on the road all the time, and then a breakup kind of shook that a little bit, and
As they will do.
As they will do, and I was like, oh, all I know are people from the road. I don't actually talk to anybody that I know anymore.
I don't have a life.
Yeah, this is my life, and that's kind of where Honest Life grew from, and the songs, that reflection on that sort of lifestyle, and that's why I ended up going to get a job at as a bartender, to be like, really shake my core and take a step back and look at where I was. And of course I'm in love with the road. I'm not
Right.
That's my life, but I needed that stability to kind of realize, like, it's you have to be dedicated to that lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's very intense.
Yeah.
So
The hobo, it's not a dream, the
No.
hobo life. It's work.
yeah.
Now, I love something in another interview that we did, that I asked you about the cinematic feel and the visual aspect of your songs, and you said that you can write a line like, I loved him, but there's not weight to that until you give it life, by basically adding the what, when, where, and how. Unpack that a little bit more. Like, how do you do that in different situations?
Well, I think it's an observational type writing style. It's about being present where you are at, and realizing how those emotions play into where you're being present. And so when I write songs, I look at them like moments. Like, in that moment, do you just see a tree in a sunset and feel nothing, or do you just feel everything and not see a tree in the sunset? You need, like, both for that moment to be alive.
Right.
And so it's like, that's what I think about when I write songs. It has to be both. It has to be that feeling that the tree in the sunset gives you, but you can't leave out that detail.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how I've always looked at songwriting, and I feel like those two are very important. Otherwise, you're just spouting nothing but emotions at people, or nothing but, lyrics with no weight behind them.
Yeah. Are you a film buff? I know you do some photography, right?
I'm not a film buff. I like
Okay.
films, but I wouldn't call myself like a film buff. But
Okay.
I do love photography, yeah.
Okay. So there is
It's
a
a hobby.
visual component to your life.
Yes, I notice when it's really well filmed. I
notice
notice when there's
when-
great cinematography.
I notice
Yeah.
when the camera is moving around so much, I feel like I want to puke. So
Exactly.
I have to turn down quite a few video premieres because I'm like, I can't even watch this. I'm not going to heap that on my people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the circus ride where you,
Yeah.
what is that one called? It like blows you to the side and you're just like this, spinning around in a circle.
tilt-a-whirl?
The tilt-a-whirl. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can do it.
Yeah.
Won't do it.
Can't, won't.
Nope. You also said about this record that it's about striving to be your best person. And that's a practice that I personally believe very deeply in. So how does that manifest for you just in your daily life?
Well,
If it does, if it's not just all talk.
if it's not just all talk, if you really are trying to be a better
if you're
person.
walking the walk,
Yeah.
tell me how you're doing it.
Well, you know, for me, full disclosure, I don't follow any religion. I'm spiritual, I like to think, but I don't. And so I feel like my motto's always been, you know, shoot for goodness, shoot for kindness, shoot for those little things that really matter. And so that's a lot of what Honest Life is too, is just being true to yourself and not being afraid of that, you know. But also there are social rules, I feel like, in place, social boundaries where it's good to like give somebody a smile, you know?
Yeah.
And that sort of thing. If they're having a bad day, to not brush them off and that sort of thing. But yeah, and so Honest Life has a lot of that in it. I mean, I feel like I wrote it at the peak of becoming like a woman. Like I feel like I was a kid, and then I wrote Honest Life, and then I was maybe a woman.
Magically transformed?
Yeah, I
mean,
you
haven't even hit your Saturn return yet.
26?
28-ish
is that
when that happens.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
27's the year where you might die if you're a musician.
Well,
so hopefully I make it there.
I think there are certain qualifications. It's not just if you're a random 27-year-old musician.
Yeah,
But,
okay.
Yeah, the 28 Saturn return, astrologically, will shake you up.
Oh, man.
So can't wait to hear what record you make at 30.
You just wait.
Let's just plan it. It's the BGS album of the year for that year. It's going to be good.
Awesome.
Yeah. I love that idea of just sort of, you know, I always hold the door open for people and smile and that kind of thing. And that sort of naked honesty. The thing that always gets me is when cashiers at the grocery store are like, oh, how you doing today? And I just can't help myself. Like the guy yesterday was like, oh, do you have any big plans for, you know, the rest of the day? And I was like, there are noodles in my future. What do you want me to say? You're a cashier. It freaks them out every time. But I kind of like injecting that sort of, because it's real and it's honest. And some people go with it. Some people, it catches them off guard.
Yeah, you can go with it. And sometimes you have to remind yourself to do that stuff. Like, I've definitely had days where I'm just like a zombie. Yeah. And I feel like that's also the same thing with Honest Life, too. It's like self-reflecting in a bad way, like knowing what you're not good at.
Right.
You know what I mean? And why you're maybe not a good person sometimes.
Right.
And trying to, you know, improve those parts.
Yes.
as best as you can.
Yes.
And so, yeah, it's about removing yourself from your mind and, like, opening your eyes and... I'm in the world right now.
Ding. Yes.
I'm here, you know?
And give it your best, whatever your best is at that moment.
Yeah, exactly.
I get it. Song time.
Song time.
Which one are you going to do first?
This is a song called Table for One.
Yeah. Awesome. Courtney Marie Andrews.
Table for one. I've got no one I'm waiting on. I just pulled into town an hour ago from the streets of Houston to this diner in Ohio. I'm just waiting for the bar to open, 'cause I'm a little bit lonely, a little bit stoned, and I'm ready to go home. You don't wanna be like me. This life, it ain't free. Always chained when I leave. Been dancing with strangers, sleep in the van when the show's over. I've been driving until I get tired. Found peace in the redwoods, lost it 20 miles later. There is no telling which way this road bends. Been wondering how you've been, hoping things have gotten better. Hope you finally settled down in Washington. 'Cause I'm a little bit lonely, a little bit stoned, and I'm ready to go home. You don't wanna be like me. This life, it ain't free. Always change when I leave.
That was the hardest time I've had not singing along in a year that we've been doing this show.
You should have. That would have been great.
No, it really, I don't think I'm on the right side of the table. Let's just say that. Yeah, gosh, I love this record so much.
Thank you.
Okay, we are now at the enlightening round.
The enlightening round.
Mm-hmm. In which I'm going to ask you questions based on your song titles.
All right.
From
This
all
is
three
so
of
enlightening.
your records. Yes. What makes a truly honest life?
What makes a truly honest life? It's being true to yourself while always pushing yourself to be truer. So it's reflecting on those flaws and that sort of thing, like I was saying before.
Okay.
Yeah, it's self-reflection. That's honest life.
Okay. I'll take it. What keeps going?
What keeps
Yeah.
going?
Because what is it?
The
It
world.
keeps going.
The world keeps going. It just keeps spinning around and around and around.
Yeah.
And we're still, like, spinning around. Sometimes you have to, like, ground yourself, you know?
All the time. Yeah. What is special about Georgia Guilt?
What is special? Whoa, that's a left field one.
See?
That's
know.
good.
I
Yeah.
know.
Georgia guilt. Well, there are many guilty people in Georgia.
It's true. That's true.
But also everywhere. But Georgia especially. Only because you asked me that question.
Yeah. I don't know how it stacks up. I think Alabama has a lot of
There's a lot of guilt.
A lot of guilt too.
A lot of guilt there.
Yeah. Okay. Because you can't actually be both. Are you a woman of many colors or a blue woman?
I've had friends ask me that exact question.
Well, it's the world
okay.
needs to know.
I'm a woman of many colors because I can't be a blue woman unless I'm a woman of many colors. Because I'm blue as well. So, many colors.
It's so cheating.
I fit the blue inside that. Yeah. It just...
I think that's a cop-out right there. But okay,
I
whatever.
couldn't just paint the color blue if I had a canvas. That would...
You could.
I could. That could be my thing, but it's not going to be.
There's so many different shades of blue.
I know. What if I'm one of those people with the fourth cone and I see colors nobody else sees? And then...
That's a whole other interview.
I know.
That's next time.
Yeah.
That's the next record. All right. What is the magician's best trick?
Magician's best tricked. Magician's best trick is definitely bunny out of the hat.
Okay. Fair. What's the best way to put the fire out?
One time I put the fire out with a keg in Alaska.
That was bold.
It was very bold, but it was the only option.
Did it work?
Yep. Fire was put out.
Okay.
It was with some friends. They started a fire. Did not start a pit. Just a fire in the middle of the woods. Mm. They were Alaskans, too.
They should know better.
And the only thing we had around, it was like half a mile from the house, was a keg. They'd carried out.
Was it like Bud Lime or something?
No, it was some like Alaskan brewery beer.
Oh, so it actually did have alcohol in it.
Yeah, which you would think would spread the fire.
A little combustible.
But it didn't.
Huh.
The fire was put out. Or it was like with
Don't try this at home, though.
Yeah, this sounds like the very bro.
Yeah, okay, stay in school and don't put the fire out with a keg of beer. This is going totally sideways, Courtney. Last one. Finish this sentence. If it's not the end, it's the blank.
very beginning.
Okay. There's no right or
No.
wrong.
No.
That's why it's enlightening.
It is enlightening. If it's not the end, I feel like that's the cop-out answer, too. Beginning is what you would think it would be, but no. No, it's not.
Okay.
If it's not the end, it's the future. There.
Okay, I'm gonna have to think on that one. Okay, you do another
How
song
about
while I
that?
think on that. Which one do you decide on?
I'm gonna put the fire
You're gonna
out.
put the fire out.
with the, hopefully not with the keg this time.
All
'Cause
right.
I don't see one around, so.
No, do it. And I won't sing.
Yeah, okay. On this flight, gonna see my baby one last night. No more maybes, I've made up this road-worn mine, and I'm sticking around for a while this time. I've seen enough, too much seeing, I've lived it up. Not enough sleeping, I've been up, I've been down, I've been lost, and I'm ready to be found. 'Cause I am ready to put the fire out. There's a place for everything, and I think I know mine now. Heard a lot's changed, how you been? Heard you started laughing again. Once I'm off this plane, I hope you'll make a little time to laugh with me. Few more hours, feels like forever. Here's my chance, I wanna get better. Wanna pick up the phone and return your calls. Tell you how much I love you all. 'Cause I am ready to put the fire out. There's a place for everything, and I think I know mine now. Now that I'm off this plane, I think I'm ready to stay. I wanna live in the now, live for today. Stop worrying about what's gonna come. Let my hair down, have a little bit more fun. Now that I'm in town, we should go dance and tell everyone we know. No need to plan it, hear the rock and roll at the Blue Moon Tavern. I'm here for a while, no need to ask me if I'm going. 'Cause I am ready to put the fire out. There's a place for everything, and I think I know mine now. Yes, I am ready to put the fire out.
Courtney Marie Andrews, Put the Fire Out, from Honest Life. Boom. Latest record came out last August. BGS album of the year. I'm just gonna keep saying that. It's like you should make new stickers.
Prom Queen.
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Valedictorian.
Valedictorian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we don't rank. We do
I like it.
superlatives.
I like that.
Yeah.
No, it's
It
cool.
just feels kinder. Because how do you compare? Like, how do you compare your record to Sturgill Simpson's record? You know,
Yeah.
just
So like statistic. Like
Yeah.
it's like statistics, like 1, 2.
yeah. Well, you can't
Person-
you can't rank that stuff. So
Yeah.
we all vote, and then we decide where to put people.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's a great record. Again,
you.
I love it, and seems like it's been doing pretty well for you.
It's been a nice ride.
That's right.
Yeah.
What's coming up?
Well, tonight I'm playing at the Basement
Yep.
in Nashville.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I'm going overseas to Australia and yeah, with Joe Pug And
Oh, you did some European dates earlier this year, I know.
yeah, we just
UK
did.
and stuff.
Yeah, I'm going back there with the band actually in September.
I can see you
And
doing very well over there. Is that true?
it has been going really well. Yeah, yeah. So been spending quite a bit of time over there, and then later this year I'm going opening for Hamilton Lighthouser on his U.S. run.
Okay.
So.
That's a good, nice little double bill right there.
Yeah, it'll be
I
super
still
fun.
think you and Dylan LeBlanc should do some shows together.
I'm down.
That might have been him calling right there, texting you, going, "Hey, where are you?"
Bloop, bloop.
Thank you for being here so much.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Total fun.
Yeah.
Next week we have Rodney Crowell, and then Keb Mo, John Paul White, Gabby Moreno. It's going crazy here at Hillbilly Central, you guys. We love it. Until then, over now from Hillbilly Central.